Voting is now underway in the election for the next General Secretary of Unison, the largest trade union in the United Kingdom. And this time, for the very first time, there is one sole left candidate, Andrea Egan. We've covered Andrea's campaign before on Left Horizons, and you can find that piece on the website. Link is in the description below. The ballot opened on the 28th of October and it closes at 5 p.m. on the 25th of November, with voting papers going out in stages to Unison's 1.3 million members. Already, interest has been growing. Over 100 members joined Andrea's online rally on Monday, the 27th, to hear from Nadia Whittome MP, John McDonnell MP, Glenn Williams from the Unison NEC, Kemba Hadaway-Morgan, Vice Chair of the Unison National Black Members Committee, and Sarah Woodall, a striking Unison member, and of course, Andrea herself. John McDonnell launched an attack on Starmer and the Labour cabinet. He said the key to turning the political situation around lies with the trade unions and that this election could be transformative. With Andrea linking up with other unions, he argued, it's time to lay it on the line for Starmer. Continued trade union support must depend on the Labour government actually delivering for the working class. He didn't hide his view that the current government is failing and pointed to yet another example, learning that the much vaunted new GP hubs in England and Wales will be funded by private finance initiatives. Another conveyor belt quickly moving public funds into the pockets of venture capitalists. Speakers like Nadia, Kemba and Sarah emphasised Andrea Egan's record as a campaigning Labour branch secretary and NEC member, as well as her personal qualities. Glenn Williams said what many activists already know: there needs to be far more effort from everyone supporting Andrea's campaign, because if turnout sits at the same 10% that Unison internal elections have seen before, that simply will not be enough. Andrea made it clear that she intends to examine the relationship between Unison and the Unison-Labour link. She argued that it's not acceptable for the Labour link, with around 400,000 levy-paying members, to portray itself as the voice for all 1.3 million Unison members in the Labour Party. It can only speak for those who pay the political levy and no one else. She also turned her attention to Unison legal services, especially the relationship with Thomson's solicitors. She said too many members' claims are rejected because they're assessed as having less than a 50% chance of success, and made the case that Unison's legal services need to be far less risk-averse. Andrea also didn't hold back when talking about the incumbent General Secretary, Christina McAnair. She pointed out that McAnair hasn't uttered a single word against Starmer, while Unison members have been enraged by Labour's actions or inaction. The General Secretary's job is to represent Unison members loudly and forcefully with the government, no matter which party is in power, and Christina has failed to do so. Unison is supposed to be a member-led union, yet ever since its founding in 1993, all four General Secretaries, Alan Jenkinson, Rodney Bickerstaff, Dave Prentice, and now Christina McAnair, have come from the union's full-time staff. Under the leadership, the union never used its massive weight outwardly against cuts to public services, pay and conditions. Instead, the focus turned inward, defending the apparatus against the supposedly ever-present Trot menace. That meant working obsessively to stop left-wing activists from winning seats on the NEC or national committees. During Gray Allen's own period on the National Labour Link Committee, a friend of Left Horizons who wrote this article, he said that the atmosphere in Unison Centre on Euston Road felt defined by constant chatter about the Trots, about how the bureaucracy had managed to get one over on them. And by Trots, they meant anyone on the left who spoke out against the leadership. But it's not only factionalism that has defined the bureaucracy. Cronyism has been rife, with breaches of rule or the misuse of funds getting overlooked if the people involved are on the right side of the machine. The latest example even made the national press. As the Daily Record reported on the 2nd of November, officers of the NHS Greater Glasgow, Clyde and CVS branch spent more than £7,500 sending 16 people, partners included, on a trip to the Durham Miners Gala. None of it was authorised, and two senior officials from Unison Scotland also went along. Margaret McCarthy, the former assistant branch secretary, said the leadership tried to bury it, knowing full well that the same people on this jolly would nominate and support the current leadership. An internal investigation later claimed there was no evidence of deception, fraud or personal gain. Christina McAnair, who previously served as lead officer for NHS members, is reported to be a good friend of the branch. If this had been a branch led by the so-called Trots, suspensions and disciplinary action under Rule 1 would have followed instantly. McAnair now faces a real possibility of losing this General Secretary election. And already there are reports that rules on campaigning are being broken, with a blind eye turned whenever it benefits the incumbent. One branch in Scotland told members on Facebook that if their branch had nominated McEnea, then members had to vote for her. Time is long overdue for change in Unison. The bureaucracy has sat in a cosy relationship with the right-wing leadership of the Labour Party for far too long. As John McDonnell put it, electing Andrea Egan would be transformative. Ballot papers have already begun landing on doormats. Unison members now have the chance to make that change. Vote for Andrea Egan. Time for real change. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel and head over to www.lefthorizons.com, where you can read the full article and subscribe to our newsletter. You can also listen to this video on Spotify or any podcast platform you prefer by following the links in the description below. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.